Hi everyone, and welcome back to Curiosity Corner. We're going to continue our study in the ocean, books about the ocean, with this one today called Over and Under the Waves. And if you enjoy this book, you can always check Over and Under the Snow, Up on the Garden, up in the garden and down in the dirt, Over and Under the Pond, Over and Under the Rainforest, and the last one to look at is Over and Under the Canyon. So if you have any interest in those sorts of areas on our planet, great books to read. So this story is by Kate Messner, and the art is by Christopher Stiles Neal. And look at the first page. It's not even in the book yet, and we have some great things that we already know about from our last story. We see a shark, sea star, scallops, and bubbles. Over and Under the Waves. This is a really cool book that starts out with an adventure on the shore and leads us to the deep ocean. Over the waves we paddle away from the beach to the water's deep blue. Sea lions bark from the rocks. One slips into the water. Whoosh, flip, swoosh. She dives beneath our boats and disappears into the deep. So this begins our Over and Under the Waves. Where did she go, I asked. Out to the bay, Mom says. Under the waves is a whole hidden forest full of silver fish and squid and bat stars and sea anemones. We're paddling over them right now. You ever been in a little boat and wonder what's underneath? Or been up to the river and been on a life preserver, or a raft, and wonder what's under there? Over the waves, we slice through the current, matching our paddle strokes to push through the wind. Now you can see there's just a small bit of over up there and a lot of under all the way down to the ocean floor. Under the waves, kelp bass hunt, working together to surround smaller fish. Who said fish weren't smart? They go to school, you know. Over the waves, pelicans soar. We try to keep up with Dad. But under the waves, the anchovies play follow the leader in a shimmering silver school. A group of fish is called a school. That's why I said they were smart. Over the waves we paddle, riding the swells in the cool sea salt air. Soon we're floating in a forest of kelp that winds and tangles around our boats. I grab onto a strand and hold tight to keep from drifting away. That's hard to do because kelp and seaweed are slick and slippery. Oh, look. Sea otters do that too, Mom says. Over the waves, a mama otter and her pup cuddle together, all wrapped up in strands of slippery brown-green. See that? They hold on to each other all through the night while they sleep so that they don't lose track of one another. But now under the waves, another otter follows the kelp strands, searching for red abalone and sea urchins. Here's an abalone right here, and the sea urchin is kind of a spiny sea animal related to a sea anemone, but they have hard spines. I take a break from paddling to lean back and look up where shorebirds swoop and soar. They hang in the sky just the right moment to strike. So we see our seagulls there, kinds of seabirds. What are they going to strike at, I wonder? See, I always ask myself questions when I'm reading. That's why I'm curious. Under the waves, leopard sharks prowl the seafloor, while a wolf eel lurks in the crevice, waiting for prey to pass. So there is a leopard shark and a wolf eel, which is a fairly large eel. Now the eel doesn't spend as much time swimming around as he does hiding and being quiet until his prey comes by. Leopard shark's going to go out and get it himself. Look! Dad points, and way in the distance, sprays of mist form up from the waves. Look. Humpback whales have surfaced to breathe. We paddle out for a closer look. Oh, can you imagine how exciting that would be to see whales? Exciting. Well, they haven't seen the whale yet, right? Ooh, the bay has gone quiet. We wait, rising and falling on the swells. Under the waves, pale moon jellies float and sea nettles drift, swinging with the slow current. We should head back, Mom says. But then, just then, whoosh! Our humpback whales lunge to the surface and their mouths open to feast on sardines. They crash back down with a splash and a surge. Oh, that would be scary to be in a little boat when all of a sudden a humpback whale comes up. Goodness. Wow! Our boats rock as the whales dive once more, a slow smoothing arch, a swish of their tails, and they're gone under the waves. What a special thing they got to see. Over the waves, the wind grows brisk, and I shiver and I zip up my jacket as we turn to head home. Now you blend in with the boat, Mom laughs. And look at underneath what she blends in with, that octopus too. Down below, a giant octopus swims over the sand. Very quiet. And then it changes color to match the rocks and disappears, a camouflage magic trick under the waves. Not all animals can do that. Camouflage is an awesome thing. We should read a book about camouflage, but octopi are awesome that way, changing colors. Over the waves, we paddle toward shore. The tide's coming in now, and it helps us along. We steer between the pilings of the wharf. But below, the striped sea perch circle. Barnacles pull in their feathery feet. That's right. Barnacles spend their whole life upside down. Their feet are up, their head is down, and that's how they are. While tree fish and prawns tuck away in the rocks. That's their feet, actually, right there. That's a barnacle bunch of feet. And they move their feet and put their food down into an opening where their mouth is at the bottom. Pretty amazing. We ride a big wave right onto the beach as the sun melts into the sea. The sun doesn't really melt, you know that, right? But if you're curious, you can see a sun sets beneath the horizon. So it appears to melt into the ocean, but it doesn't melt. It never goes away. Sea stars cling to the rocks in the tide pools, and anemones glisten in the last light of day. While Mom pulls up our boat, I search for shells on the I search for shells on the shoreline and spell my name in the sand. Can you see what her name is? She has a real short name, J-E-N, Jen. I like that she didn't take a bunch of shells. She just spelled her name and let it stay there until the tide came and probably took her name out to sea. The edge of the waves, a decorator crab collects bits of seaweed and sponge. His shell is his canvas and home. We'll learn more about decorator crabs soon. With wave wobbly legs and paddle sore arms, we climb the stairs toward home. It's time for Nana's spaghetti and meatballs, then chocolate chip cookies and bed. Oh, I can still hear the sea behind me, slushing ocean lullaby as the moon rises over the waves. They rock the dreaming sea perch in their drifting forest of kelp, the luminous jellyfish and deep diving whales, the delicate anemones and the vanishing octopus. Tonight, stars of the sky meet stars of the sea in the secret world under the waves. And on the very back of the book, you can read more about each one of the animals that we talked about. Be sure to look for that too. Boys and girls, it's an awesome book. I had an awesome time reading with you, and I have an activity for anybody who wants to try it. So we'll try that next. Hi, so we're back and we're going to talk a little bit about fun ways that you can provide an extension for your books. An extension is just like another activity. And of course, when I thought about my ocean books, I thought about water, I thought about watercolor, and I thought about that I'm not very good at it, but I'm going to try, because that's what we do. We never give up because we're curious kids. I want to see if I can do it. So this awesome book that we just finished reading, Over and Under the Waves, has so many pages where it shows something that is above the wave and something that's below the wave. So what we're going to do is, because we know all this now, right? We read it in our story. The last two stories have been about ocean animals. We're going to get what we need. So you need some paper, preferably white and preferably kind of thick. You can use construction paper. This one's even a little thicker than that, and it's called sketch paper. And you might want a pencil. If you're like me, you want an eraser. This is a gum eraser, but you can use any eraser. And if this is clean and you're sure it's got no black pencil on it, you can use that. You're going to get some kind of a permanent black pen. This one is thick, this one is thin. We'll see what we're going to do with those. You're going to need a brush. You don't need this many. No, you don't. And you're going to need a little bit of plain water. You do not need to fill it to the top. You do not even need that much. But when it starts to change color as you use your watercolors, you want to change your water. So this is a watercolor set that most of our friends in school have, and they aren't very expensive, but what they are is concentrated color in these rectangles. And what you're going to do is use water to activate that color. So because I'm watercoloring, it's not like coloring in the lines or anything like that. So you can just take it. I forgot to tell you, you can do one other thing. If you wanted to, you can water the paper just a little bit, because you'll see how different it is if we use the color for watercolor here or if we color it here. When you have water on it, it kind of flows a little better, and you can also just let it go where it wants to go. All right, let's get to 2 pages that I did beforehand, because you can't really draw when it's wet like this. There is one exception. You can get a crayon and you can draw. You have to decide where is my top of my water going to be and where is my bottom, because I know that as it goes up to the top, it's going to be a little bit lighter. And you don't need it to be straight, do you? It's the ocean. Is the ocean ever straight? No, there are waves all over the place. So this is going to be my over the waves, and this is going to be my under the waves. You have to decide, do you want to have your paper be horizontal, lay flat like that? Or would you rather it be vertical? So these are all dry, and this is a vertical one. And I probably can go back and erase some of my lines. I was so nervous about it, I didn't even think I could pick where the ocean was going to be. So you can go back and erase your ocean lines. Still going to show up a little bit, and if after you do it you think, oh, that's not dark enough, you can make it darker. So here's a vertical one, and here is a horizontal one. On this one I chose a little purple because I think that sometimes the ocean looks a little dark on the bottom too. Then, after I decided what my paper was going to look like, I needed to figure out how to draw some animals. So I started looking around, what do I have, what do I have? Well, I do have some pieces of that you can copy off from a copier. We're going to link a video that says, that is a perfect video for how to draw ocean animals with kids. So be sure to look for that too, that's fun. And here is an old stencil, excuse me. A stencil is something that you lay flat and you hold with your fingers, and obviously I've had a few children use this. And then you take a pencil and you trace around, and when you do, you decide where you want that one animal. Like I decided to put a pelican up high and some fish down low, but I did not have a stencil for my jellyfish, so I just kind of drew a little jellyfish. Plus, I thought, how interesting would it be, and I'm going to dip into the brown really quick, show you how to activate it a little bit. You kind of, when you use watercolors, you're going to let that color go there, and you're not going to grind into it. You just want it to lift up and go into the brush. And then you can go to the rock, and you can make it as absolutely dark as you want. The darker you like it, the less water you're going to use. Okay, just get to the edge here, show you how to do that. Wiggle, 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 pick up some more color. And then you start to have a rock. Why did I put a rock? Because so many cool animals live on rocks way down in the ocean floor. So I didn't want to miss out on that. So that's a little bit of the rock that you can do. And the other thing, besides the video that we're hooking on there, stencils, pictures that you can get from the computer, you can go to the library and look at all kinds of other books. This is just another ocean book that I have. Like if I wanted to draw a little acorn, barnacle, we talked about those barnacles, how they open up and they have those feathery things. You're going to want to hook those down on a rock. Look at these beautiful shells. They can be up on a rock somewhere here. Put this down here for a minute. This was another rock I put in there, and I didn't even take it down to the bottom, but you know, we're going to have a little bit of brown right here too, so we could put as many animals as we wanted up on that rock. Just look at a couple other pages here. You might see something you like. Ooh, look at that. There's all kinds of things. There's squids. There's a cuttlefish that we read about, octopus. Nudibranchs, my favorite. Little chitons. We'll get down to the beach and we'll learn about all those animals. And here come the whales. So we had a big humpback whale in our story. And then the story before, we had a killer whale, or we have the orca. These other whales are deep, deep whales. They don't come up very often. And here you go. So here is the upper, or the air, And here is under the waves. So I love that. That's kind of the idea that gave me the idea to do this. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to have to turn myself like this, I am going to outline my dolphin right now. This pen works. So when I outline my dolphin, whoopsie, I'm just going to very carefully trace over my pencil that I marked, and then afterwards, I bet you know what I could do. I can erase my pencil, and I bet you anything somebody's going to go, oh my goodness, that's such a good dolphin. I've got to put a little smile. I got to put a little eye. Got to put a little blowhole right here. You can add as much as you want to your dolphin. And here's another fish. And once you use a pen like this, you could, if you wanted to make the water a little darker, you could go over it again because it is waterproof. If you use a regular black pen, like a regular felt tip black pen, you'll need to leave it alone. Now, you can go back with a crayon, with colored pencil. If you're a really good painter, you can do that. You can just have tons of fun with this project. And of course, refer back to our books that we read. And like here is this pelican right here. Right up here is that pelican that is on my picture. So if I wanted to do more than just line it with my black pen, I could go back and use colors. I hope you do this project. I hope you have fun with it, and I hope you share it with me somehow. Let me know. I'd love to see it. And I love you guys very much, and I'm so happy to be sharing the ocean and all of its wonders with you. Stay curious and ask questions. It's the best thing in life. Bye.